Hello, my name is Dr. Katherine Weintraub, and I'm the professor of saxophone at both the University of South Florida and Southeastern University. In addition, I'm also a private instructor in Tampa, Florida. So today, I will be both performing and teaching the 11th and 12th grade Allstate Baritone Saxophone Etudes. Today, I will be starting with the technical etude, followed by the lyrical etude. I will now be performing and teaching the technical etude for baritone saxophone. This is also from the Fairling book, number 6, Allegretto Scherzo. When first learning this etude, a suggestion that I would have would be to first practice with the metronome on the 8th note. So to have the etude in 3 instead of in 1, like so. This will probably be an easier method for you as you're in the slow tempo stages of learning the etude. Then as you get more comfortable, you can then start to feel the etude in 1 with the metronome, like this. So that's just a good metronome strategy I would suggest for you. In terms of the articulations, something to keep in mind is to blow across the articulation patterns to ensure that the articulations do not chop up the larger continuity of each phrase. So again, in order to have a nice light tongue and articulation, air is going to be the key here. So try not to chop the ends of slurs and really focus on keeping the air moving. In terms of the meter, in order to ensure that the meter is clearly shaped, once in a while you might strive to bring out beat 1 at certain points of each phrase, just to make sure that we feel that sense of it being in 3/8. Like so. Just want to make sure that whoever is listening to you knows what meter you're playing in, even if they weren't looking at the music. When you're learning the etude, meticulously adhere to the articulation markings from the beginning of the learning process. That's going to make this a lot easier. Try not to have the articulations be something that you learn at the end. By then it's going to be too late. Another comment on articulation, this goes back to air. When running into extended passages of tonguing, make sure that just a minimal amount of tongue is used only towards the tip of the reed to ensure the lightness of the articulations. And last but not least, strive to bring out long-range phrase shapes. The phrases here are very, very long, and since we are in 1, the phrases actually end up being about 16 measures long. So really try to bring out this longer range shaping, and this will also make it very clear about where to breathe. Hello, my name is Dr. Katherine Weintraub. I'm the professor of saxophone at the University of South Florida and also Southeastern University. In addition, I'm also a private saxophone instructor in Tampa, Florida. So today I will be both performing and teaching the baritone saxophone high school Allstate excerpts for 11th and 12th grade. I'll be starting with the lyrical etude, which is from the Fairling book. This is number 37, Andante.
Thank you.
When preparing this etude, make sure that you practice often with a metronome to make sure that this pulse stays really steady during performance. This is sort of at an awkward in-between tempo. It's not a very, very slow etude, but it's not fast either. So we want to make sure that we get that nice middle ground established for the tempo. We also want to strive for evenly paced crescendos and decrescendos that clearly portray the peaks and the dissipation of phrases. In terms of the articulation, staccatos should be light and bouncy and not overly clipped. So maybe think of more of a dah, dah type syllable instead of dit, dit. That's going to make for just a more graceful kind of maestoso type style that we're looking for here. We also want to strive for long range portrayal of these 8-bar phrases. So use your air in such a way as to not chop up each phrase. This will also inform you where to breathe. One pretty tricky aspect of this particular etude is the pitch. Key of B is not exactly the most friendly key for any saxophone, especially baritone saxophone. Our D sharps tend to be very, very sharp, and our middle C sharps tend to be quite flat. So make sure to practice with the tuner to try and get rid of this disparity as much as possible. You also may consider using some sort of corrective fingering for your middle C sharps. This will likely differ from horn to horn, but I found that the best one to use on baritone is just putting down the side C key in order to raise that C sharp. So try to use that or experiment with that where you feel like it may help and where your fingers are able to make that happen. Lastly, in terms of expressive markings, we do see a few accents in here. But I like to think of these accents of just adding warmth or weight to the note, not a sharp sort of intensity like we would normally think. We also want to, of course, and I say this a lot to my students, make sure that you are accenting with the air and not the tongue. So try not to use a heavier tongue when accenting. And last but not least, you can also bring out these accents with the use of vibrato. Vibrato can be a really excellent tool for not only adding expression, but also adding weight and warmth and intensity to a note. So I think it could be a perfect tool when dealing with these accented notes in this etude. So those are just some tips and tricks on the 11th and 12th grade Allstate Baritone Sax Etudes. I hope this helped. Happy practicing and good luck.